Hello and welcome back to another out of spec motoring video. Yeah, I know what you guys are probably thinking. Why is the detailing guy on the motoring channel? Well, that's because I'm taking the show on the road. Behind me here is my 2023 Tesla Model 3 Performance. We're going to be taking this from here in Windsor, Colorado down to Foley, Alabama, actually to detail a few cars. So I've got my Model 3 loaded up with as many things as I can possibly fit from my detailing shop in the back, in the front, in the under trunk, into the Model 3. And tomorrow we hit the road bright and early. Welcome back and let's get on the road. Well, I'm super excited to be back on the motoring channel. It's been a long while since I was actually on here. Last time you guys probably saw me on the motoring channel was doing a race to Vegas with both Kyle and Ryan. Over to Vegas and back in the Model S Plaid, the Lucid Air Grand Touring, as well as a Taycan. Great race on that, really enjoyed it. Doing about 800 miles each leg, super fun trip. I actually ended up winning both of the legs in the Model S Plaid. Ease of use with Tesla charging, even though these cars don't charge the fastest, which we'll talk about. Yeah, still super easy to road trip. Just jump in these cars and go. So a little bit about my 2023 Tesla Model 3 Performance here. Picked this car up in October of 23 and honestly haven't put that many miles on it, unfortunately. In fact, this car has actually never been out of state. Since it got here to Colorado from the Fremont factory, it's never left, which is honestly kind of sad. So first road trip in this car, really excited for it. Unfortunately, I love road tripping. I just don't have the time with my business, the dogs, my wife, staying busy all the time to actually get out and do trips. So this all came together and I decided, you know what, let's pack up the detail shop in the Model 3, take a great road trip and go enjoy some fun. So a little bit more about this car. As you guys may notice, it's definitely a little bit modified here. So we have the full Mountain Pass Performance Sport coilover setup on here. I've turned the dampers all the way to soft because, yeah, let's be honest, this is more of really a canyon car now. It is very drivable for, you know, daily driving use and things like that, but it's definitely a little bit on the harsher side, if you will. Everything you modify in a car is a compromise in some way. You will also notice here we are running the Martian MW05s. My friend from Drew at Martian Wheels, he's been on the channel multiple times. He makes, in my opinion, some of the best wheels out here for Teslas. And yeah, these look absolutely stunning in the satin bronze with the midnight silver metallic white interior. I just love how this car has come out. We are also not running the factory tire. We are in fact running a Tesla T0 spec. So this is actually a Tesla factory tire, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tire, 235/35/20. So all in all, we're running a pretty sticky tire here. Less efficient wheels than the Uber turbines, although they are much lighter than those. I think they save about 8 to 12 pounds per corner. They're just not as aerodynamic. So I'll be interested to see how this car does on a long road trip in terms of efficiency. We'll go through all of that. Now, as you guys know, or as I told you, I packed up as much as I possibly could in the back of this car. So my trunk is completely filled with as many detailing supplies as I can possibly fit. If you're interested in exactly what I'm taking, I will have a video probably out before this over on the Out of Spec Detailing channel, show exactly what I'm taking. But I am taking my Kranzla pressure washer, my full wash setup, all the towels I need, all my polishers for paint correction and polishing, as well as all the ceramic coatings, even taking things like my Viper detailing chair. It is insane the amount of stuff you can fit in the trunk, in the under trunk, as well as the front in the Model 3. It's actually amazingly impressive. All the chemicals, pretty much everything I need other than some detailing buckets, as well as yeah, a few bigger essentials like air compressors. Of course, that's not going to fit in the car. So one thing I always do before any time I go on a road trip, always give the car a good wash, a good clean. You got to start off a road trip with a clean car. Make sure you go through, clean the glass, clean up the interior. The cars always drive better when you do that. So I think next, let's hop in the car here. We'll talk about the route, the journey we're kind of going on, plan out the stops. Now, I am actually not leaving until early tomorrow morning. If you guys know me, or if you don't know me, I am not a morning person at all, which is why I'm filming this intro the day before we actually leave. Because yeah, I will be completely dead in the morning, and trying to start off a video like that is never any fun. So let's jump through the route plan. All right, so let's go through a few things here, talking about the route we're gonna go through, mileage on this car, what software version, because I'm very anxious to do this on full self-driving for the majority of driving. I think it'll make it pretty nice. I've subscribed with referral credits in the old, I guess, referral program using the credits, not the Tesla Cash. But anyways, let's go in here to software so you can see dual motor, performance, Model 3, 11,000 miles on it. That is pretty sad because I guess I've had this car for a year and a half and definitely haven't put as many miles on it as I would have liked. We are on the latest full self-driving V12.6.4. That is for a hardware 3 car. Now, hardware 4 is already into V13. Definitely some big differences there. So let's come into trips. So I've got my lifetime here. You can see average is about 281 watt hour per mile. Again, we'll be very curious to see what this car actually does when we're on the road, higher speeds. Of course, I've taken this car into the mountains and, you know, gone around Colorado, but never on a big long road trip. So let's reset trip A here. Let's also rename this to Bama. Save. Okay. And then we are going to go into navigate here, and we are headed to Foley. Well, not Minnesota, Alabama. So let's see what Tesla is showing here for our route plan. So we are not going to be going this way. I'll explain why in a minute, but let's see here. I don't love how Tesla's redesigned all of this. It makes it a little tricky to like see exact mileage and everything on here. Edit trip. Now, okay. Yeah, it's weird how they do this. I haven't been a huge fan of this. So what I do like is you can set arrival energy here. So what we're going to do actually instead, because if we go down this way, we're going to have a lot of 2-lane highways, which I really want to avoid. So instead of going this route through Amarillo down into Dallas, what we're actually going to do is shoot straight out to Kansas, come straight down into Dallas, and then across. So what we can do here is edit our trip. We're going to add this. We're going to go to Salina, Kansas. I also hate how this always does this. Like, why would I want to add a stop after? Which is weird. It's just strange how they do this. And then Dallas. So I've already looked at this on Google Maps, just kind of looking at the different ways to go here. But this is really going to be our route. So kind of a zigzag. It is more direct to come this way. But again, some 2-lane roads on there. I really don't want to deal with, you know, semis and all that stuff dealing with traffic here. So we are actually going to leave tomorrow morning at 100% state of charge, and we are not going to go this way. We are actually going to come down through Denver and probably hit our first charging stop in Lyman here. Again, I'm a big interstate guy. I'd like to stay off roads like this. I hate 2-lane roads. You have lots of truck traffic on there, and you also have some time wasted. I would rather just sit on the highway 80, 85 miles an hour and blast. So our first real stop overnight is going to be down here in Dallas. Now I want to try and stay more on the east side here so that we have a little bit shorter day to come down here into Foley. So realistically, it's going to be a full day. I think it's about 950 miles from here in Windsor down to Dallas. I looked at it last night once I got this all figured out. It was right about 950 miles. So it's going to be a big, long first day, but then the second day is only about 9-10-ish hour drive from Dallas to Foley. So a lot shorter in terms of mileage. I believe it's right around 1,550 miles total throughout. But this route plan, of course, will change once we get on the road. So I'm going to juice this car up tonight. I'm going to set it to precondition to have the battery set to 100%. Always like to leave and get to 100% while we're starting. The only thing is, I don't believe we can actually make it to this charger here. So we'll see on the road. What I looked at in the Tesla route plan was to actually stop in Lyman. If we start at 100%, it's going to get us there right around 48-ish%, which is, of course, not the ideal way. So I'll see if there's some other chargers. This is a 250, but at, almost 50% state of charge really doesn't matter. So we'll see tomorrow morning once we get on the road and everything like that. My dad also will be traveling with me. He's been a big road tripper. I've done many road trips with him, doing things like trailering cars across the country for car shows, things like that. We've had many of window time, as we call it, and yeah, it'll be pretty fun. He's been on one Tesla road trip, actually, from when we took my white Model 3 from here in Colorado out to LA and San Luis Obispo for Tesla Takeover one time. So honestly, this trip should be pretty easy. Cool thing is we'll have two drivers if he wants to hop in the driver's seat for a leg or two or many more. Not exactly sure. So that is our route plan. It should be a pretty fun adventure. So I will see you bright and early. We're planning on leaving 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, miss all the traffic out of Denver, get on the road early so we can get into Dallas at a somewhat reasonable hour here. So we'll see you in the morning. And a very good early morning here. 4:48 a.m. Model 3 is charged up to 100%, as well as fully preconditioned, ready to go. So use the scheduling feature on the Tesla. Seems to have worked flawlessly. So yeah, just gonna wait on my dad. We're gonna shuffle some cars around here, get them in the shop. It is a very balmy 35 degrees this morning, so we'll be a chilly start to the day. Definitely will warm up later on, but surprisingly somewhat awake this morning at 4:50 in the morning. Let's get on the road. Well, we're gonna get on the road now, and looking at this, so Lyman this morning, plugging into that's around the Lyman supercharger, 34% state of charge. It keeps wanting us to take this northern route, bunch of back roads there, not going to do that. So we're going to take I-25 down and we'll get on the road here. Also, this is my dad here. Say hello.
Hey, good morning. It's early.
Very early. Yeah, very early, a little chilly this morning. It shows 45 in the Model 3 because it was sitting in the shop overnight. But yeah. Let's just get going. We'll see where our first supercharger stop is once we get farther on the road. Always want to try and make the longest stretch possible ahead of time. So we'll see how far we can get on the first leg. So on the road now, and efficiency is looking terrible. So 353 watt-hour per mile here. FSD is doing its thing. We have already had two disengagements as it tried to go over two white solid lines on the express lane, which has not been great. So efficiency extremely poor so far, about 2.85 miles per kilowatt hour. It has gone up a little bit now in the wrong direction, so probably a little bit less efficient. So we are heading to Lyman Supercharger. Looks like it's a V3 250 kilowatt. And what you'll notice here is we only have 84 miles remaining to Lyman. It already started preconditioning about 95 miles away, so maybe the pack's a little bit cold this morning, which could make sense because it's 41 degrees out, but it also sat in the shop overnight. I looked on Sexy Buttons. It was about, I think it was right at 78 degrees Fahrenheit, which doesn't seem very cold. So this is, yeah, this might be a long trip if our efficiency keeps trending like this. We have had quite high speeds, of course, doing around 85 miles an hour. So if we need to obviously stretch it, certain chargers can obviously slow that down. But yeah, we're only going to be doing about 120, 130 miles on this first leg with 70% of the battery. Obviously some of that for waste heat, supercharging, all of that fun stuff. But yeah, beautiful morning here in Colorado. Sun is just starting to come up and we're on the road. So, little FSD update here. I have probably had 4 or 5 disengagements. Again, we're on 12.6.4, I think it is. Don't quote me if that's wrong. So I have actually switched back to auto steer because this cannot even keep speed. It goes up to 85 miles an hour, look down, I'm doing 77. There's a semi trying to pass me, then it speeds back up. It's been already extremely annoying on this trip. Also very much swerving in the lanes of like multiple times around corners. I just have to go kind of take over, so that's not been super fun, but absolutely stunning morning here in Colorado. Sun has risen 38 degrees, 6:16 in the morning, and we are preconditioning for our fast charger 45 miles away. Yeah, terrible efficiency. We have now gone up to 357 watt hour per mile. I guess technically almost 360 watt hour per mile on this leg. Seems like we have quite a big crosswind here coming out of the south, which would make sense. We were coming south on the way down from I-25, meaning we had pretty heavy headwinds, which probably means that's what's going on. So on the road we go to Lyman. Just pulled up to our first supercharger stop in Lyman. There is our efficiency. Really rough efficiency, and 29% state of charge arrival. Not an out of spec arrival, but long stretch till the next supercharger. So let's get her plugged in and juiced up. So ramping up now, pulling just over 200 kilowatts right now, 31%. I don't honestly remember what the charge curve on this car looks like. It's been a while since I've supercharged this car. Definitely not like my EV6 that would be pulling over 240 kilowatts till 57%. As you can see, already tapering down. But this will give us a chance to run in, use the bathroom over at the gas station there. And honestly, pretty easy first leg here. Not too bad at all. All right, so ran into the little gas station over there, used the bathroom. Dad got some more coffee. So it looks like the next supercharger stop is off at Colby, Kansas, which is over here. Now, I think we'll probably leave here with a 5%-ish buffer, kind of see how efficiency is. So we'll be unplugging here any minute. There is a backup option in Goodland if we need that also. So we can see that here. So 2 stops along the way if needed. So there's a 156 stalls. And then Colby is 10 stalls here, one out of order. Nice that they show you that there. So I think once we get to a 5% buffer going to Colby, we'll probably unplug here and then again have that backup option if necessary. Then it looks like our next stop is going to be Russell after that. So a little bit deeper charge here with 22 minutes. It's honestly nice though to be able to stretch your legs. We're pulling 88 kilowatts at almost 59%. Again, just remember my EGMP car at 57 would be pulling 238 kilowatts here. So yeah, kind of wish I did have the EV6 charging with the Tesla network and stuff here. It would just be incredible, but yeah, it is what it is. Looking pretty good. Honestly, pretty easy first leg, right, Dad? What do you think?
It was, went fast.
Yeah, it went really fast.
Yeah.
That was a 2-hour stretch. So you can see here we did 134.8 miles. And yeah, still pretty terrible efficiency. Pretty unimpressed with efficiency so far. So I think probably time to get on the road. Man, we are having a much better leg on the road right now, averaging 294 watt hours per mile, 81 miles since we last charged. So I definitely think we're going to be able to make it to Colby, Kansas. We got down to 2% arrival. We actually had quite a few miles there, probably about 10 to 15 miles of around 60 miles an hour behind some traffic on the road. But feels like we've got a little bit more of a tailwind now, so that's feeling a lot better, and definitely have brought our overall average from over 370 watt hour per mile down to 342. But yeah, going well. Surprised how empty these roads are. It's been awesome. I'm also running in the left lane here because lots of semis here on I-70, and that right lane is pretty chewed up and kind of bouncy here on the mountain pass suspension. Lots of windmills out there. You can see all of them absolutely ripping with kind of that side slash tailwind we've got going. But really enjoying this so far. So things are going very well here, other than I lost autopilot. Got a little bit of a strike there for not paying attention. Yeehaw. But we are 17 miles outside of Colby, Kansas. You can see now we brought that down to a 2% arrival, trying to burn off some energy. So the plan here is to do somewhat of a quick stop. Our next charger after this will be a 250. This is actually going to be a 150, so not ideal, but still doing well, and 296.6 watt hours per mile. So much more efficient on this particular trip here. And I gotta say, I cannot believe how much smoother the roads are out here in Kansas than Colorado. I really had to stay out of the right-hand lane because it was just pothole city, just really rough roads, and this is just perfectly smooth tarmac. Not much to see out here though. 2% arrival. Sorry for the very many fingerprints on the screen. Holy smokes here. The interesting thing is it actually didn't precondition here at all. I looked on the Sexy Buttons app. It was sitting right about 107 degrees on the battery pack here. So definitely going to need to warm up a little bit, probably get it off bottom pack voltage. Still had quite a bit left at 2% arrival. So I think next charge we're gonna go to Russell, Kansas. That is a V3. So definitely want to take advantage of a nice V3, arrive dead. And yeah, we do have some backup options, but we're gonna run into the bathroom. This is actually a super nice stop. Lots of great amenities here and easy to find charger right off the highway. All right, so I think I'm gonna change a little bit of my plan here. I think we'll head down to Oakley because this is a V3 supercharger. We've already clocked plenty in the car here. So let's get on the road, burn off some juice here. We'll arrive a little high in Oakley, but we'll be able to get a little bit more speeds for a little bit longer. Then we'll continue our route. All right, so I figured instead of just sitting there, we may as well just get farther down the road. Now, it's not super far. It's only 19 miles. Kind of wish I would have seen that one before we left the last stop, and we could have just gone directly there. But nonetheless, I think both of us needed to use the bathroom, get some water, charge from 2 to 41% unplugged and back on the road. So this will give us a little bit better charging stop. Definitely going to try and hit more 250s, V3s as we possibly can, of course. So I've got the speeds up high, trying to burn off some energy so we can get there as low as possible. But yeah, worked out decently well. Again, just wish I would have done a little bit more research and we could have gotten a little farther, but all is okay. Enjoying some very nice windmills out here. All right, so we have arrived to Oakley, and as you can see down here, next stop, Russell, Kansas. So we've got negative 17%, but we're actually getting better than 140. We were limited back there in Colby at 140 kilowatts. It said that that was limited by the station. So definitely going to get a little bit more juice quicker here. Obviously, once it comes off taper, not really much difference than a V2. Pretty nice stop here though with the Sonic Model X over here on 4G Autos, which is interesting. So Russell will be the next stop for sure. And then after that, wow, big stretch I think we're gonna do from Russell to Wichita. A 37-minute charge. What the heck? We'll have to look at that. Yeah, I don't want to sit here pulling 90 kilowatts above 50%. That does not sound like a fun time. So we'll get on the road here somewhat shortly. All right, just finished up charging. Not a bad stop here. 58% and overcharged a little. I was responding to some Twitter things. Arrive in Russell at 10%, 109 miles away. Let's get on the road. All right, so we have talked a little bit about our overnight stop. Sorry for the bounces here, little bouncy. So we are actually headed down through Dallas, and we're going to be ending up tonight in Terrell, Texas. Now we're actually going to stop right in this area. There's a bunch of hotels here, and, well, maybe it's not there. Right here, there's a Buc-ee's, so that'll be great. There's also 3 hotels here. We booked one of those for this evening. So we have, what did you say, Dad, about 650 miles?
Somewhere there.
650-ish miles. So it's putting us there right at 9:50 p.m. So with plugging that in, looks like our next stop again is going to be in Russell. 10% arrival, charge for only 7 minutes, get to Salina and charge for a little bit longer. So we may ride this curve a little longer because this is going to be a 250. We'll kind of see how we feel once we get in there. So Russell, Salina, Wichita, Perry, OKC, and Ardmore, and that'll put us into Terrell around 9%. Honestly, these are pretty decent charges here. I don't really like to stay for more than 15 minutes at a charger unless we're, you know, stopping to have lunch, which of course we'll need to do at some point. It is 11:15 a.m. Now we're on Central Time now. Back in Colorado, of course, it's really 10:15 to us right now. So I would say, you know, we've done pretty good. We've gone 346 miles already this morning, and feeling actually surprisingly great. Averaging on this about 337 watt hour per mile, so just under 3 miles per kilowatt hour, which I think is, you know, pretty decent. We're cruising at 85. I will say on this stretch, FSD has been a lot better. It's really been driving me nuts though, how it goes quickly, passes a car, and then it really slows down. The car passes you. You're kind of playing this, you know, over and over, but we've got it set to hurry mode, 85 miles an hour max. Can't go any more than that, which I think for this stretch is pretty good. So we've got 66 miles, just chucking the miles away. Honestly, not too bad, showing 9% arrival in Russell. So we'll see you on the road and see you at the next supercharger stop. All right, so just pulled in here, nice Cybertruck down here, V3 station in Russell, Kansas. What do we arrive with? State of charge, 9%? Mm-hmm. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna see the ramp up here. Give me the juice.
Oh, it is.
Finally, this will be our fastest charge we've had today. 230, 237, 245. Are we gonna crack 250? Hey, and our Model X just pulled up next to us here. So, right at 250. Looking pretty darn good here. We've got a Sonic in here if we need to grab some food. Killed quite a few bugs here on the front, but not looking too terribly bad. This is a pretty darn nice little spot here. So, we're going to charge up. I'll probably run to the bathroom, update you guys on where our next stop is here, but things are going very well here in the Model 3. We have cracked over 400 miles today. Looking pretty good. All right, so looking here on the road, we are actually already ready to go. We've literally ran inside, went to the bathroom, ripped up to 44%, now charging at 124 kilowatts. Now, it is getting around that lunchtime, and I think both of us are starting to get a little hungry. So I looked at the next supercharger stop, Holiday Inn Express, and not much food around. So what we decided to do was just order some Sonic here that we're just going to have on the road. Now, after Salina, we're going to go into Wichita, and realistically, we've got an 18-minute charge there. So I think while we get some food here, I'm just going to let this juice up. We might get to the point we might be able to leapfrog Salina and go into Wichita here, I think this is. Yep. Another 150, unfortunately, so could potentially share power. Only 3 of 6 available, but we'll kind of see how this goes. So if I end this trip and go to Wichita, boom, let's see how much we need to get there. Honestly, probably a pretty deep charge, so not thinking we're going to sit here for another 30 minutes. Let's see what's going on here. Doesn't even tell me anything. 161 miles, continued trip. What the heck? Nope, because I want to remove, edit trip. Yeah, I just want to go there. I don't want to stop in Salina. Where's the thing to actually remove charging stops? I think it's down here. Oh, this thing is bugging out right now. What the heck? Continue trip. Okay, yes, I get it. Remove all charging stops. There we go. Maybe we can't even make it in the Model 3. It's not even telling us whatsoever if we can make it there or not. So kind of tripping out a little bit. It still says estimated charge time of 30 minutes. I don't know. We're going to wait for our food. We've already ordered, so we're sitting here anyway. Might as well be plugged in. We might just arrive at a little bit higher state of charge here in Salina, which will make our time there shorter to jump out of there, get into Wichita, and then on the way down. So I'll figure it out after we get some food in the belly. So we got our food. I figured out what was going on here. So it wouldn't let me get down to Wichita because it was more than a negative 25% arrival there. So I think we're just going to hit the road and head on to Salina. We'll charge there however much we need. It'll be maybe a quick splash and dash there, maybe a couple minutes, but no sense in sitting here at 85 kilowatts. Goodness sakes, that is just Tesla charging curves. Just send the juice, please. Absolutely send the juice. So let's get unplugged here and get back on the road. Alright folks, so FSD today has been a little weird. Biggest thing that's been driving me nuts here has actually been it just not keeping speed. So you can see I have this set to hurry and at 85 miles an hour max, and I'm doing 80 miles an hour in the left lane. Nobody behind me back there, barely anybody way up there in front of me, and it just can't keep speed. Every other time I look down, I'm doing less than 85 miles an hour for no reason. I had this one case earlier where it would basically pass this Tahoe in front of me doing 85 and get back in the right lane. Then it would slow down to 77. The car would come past me. Then it would pass the car again, go 85. This went on a few times swapping spaces. This is on hardware 3, V12.4.2, 0.6.2, whatever it is. It's been really frustrating. Well, hopefully FSD isn't going to freak out that I'm filming, trying to do everything at once so you guys can see, but we are 3.5 miles away from Salina, 30% SOC arrival. No real other options here to push it any farther, so gonna just get a quick top up here, then head down to Wichita, which I do believe is actually quite a decent stretch. I don't know, we'll see when we get there. I do have to give a shout out to Tesla Route Planner today. It has been amazingly accurate. Pretty much every time we leave, we get there with, 1 or 2% SOC arrival, and that is very comforting. Now, of course, I don't really want to 100% rely on it because That's what I ran into when we did Race to Vegas. I started trusting it too much, and then it really screwed me, so much so that I think I had to go 45 miles an hour for like 45 minutes or an hour to try and make it to a charger, and got there at like 1 or 2% state of charge. I really had to kind of feather that car in. So things are going well. FSD still doing its thing of not keeping maximum speed. Tesla, we need to have a speed setting here to where you can just set it at that speed and it stays consistent. Now, I understand if there's traffic in front, needs to slow down, but this has been extremely frustrating. Every single time I look down, I'm doing under what I set my max speed of 85 to be. I understand that is the max, but I want to go 85, so let me go 85. Shouldn't have to intervene because, yes, that counts as an intervention every time I press the accelerator. Alrighty, made it here to Salina. One Model 3 just rolled out. 2 Model 3s here. So this is V2 station, and we're plugged into 3A. So if anybody tries to plug into 3B, I can scooch over so that we're not sharing power. Let's see, speaking of power, boom, what we're getting. So ramping up right now. It's like 144 kilowatts. Dang, these old V2s, man. I mean, yes, they're reliable, but man, I would definitely love a little bit more juice. So let's see how much we actually need here to charge up to make it to Wichita, I believe it is. So to make it to Wichita, looking about another 21% to make it there at 0. We'll give ourselves a little bit of a buffer. Definitely will go into a headwind, I believe now. Now, as you guys can see, efficiency on that last one was not incredible, but it's not as bad as it was earlier today. So 341 watt hours per mile, a little under 2 miles or 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So we'll stop here for a little bit, probably use the restroom, keep charging, head back out on the road. So I was screwing around on service mode and didn't realize we have overcharged a little bit. So we've got a 9% buffer to make it to Wichita, 97 miles. There are no chargers in between here and there. I'm assuming maybe an EA or some other charge points or anything, but nonetheless overcharged a little bit from screwing around on the Tesla here. So we'll be good to go. Weird little stop there because it was at a hotel, so no way to get water, anything like that. Was able to use the bathroom, which is always nice, but yeah, would have loved to have it at one of these travel stops over here. Nonetheless, on the road to Wichita. We are arriving now into Wichita. Pretty decent stretch there. Little bit of wind, which made some pretty terrible efficiency, so 360 watt hour per mile. But arriving with 3% more state of charge than I anticipated. So I think these next couple of legs, barring unless we don't grab food coming up, which we probably will because it's getting into the later afternoon here, probably try and get that buffer down a little bit more because rolling into stations with quite a bit of juice. So after Wichita, we have a pretty decent stretch to Perry, I believe, and then after that will be in Oklahoma City. Wichita is a pretty interesting town here. In the middle of this, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is a big kind of like river that runs down the middle. Elevated highways, definitely starting to feel like we're getting down into Texas area. Still have a long way to go down there, but yeah, going pretty darn well. So we'll update you once we get to the charger. Oh, and this will be a lovely stop. So full supercharger here and V2s, which means we're going to share. So this is going to be a super fun charging stop. Only a 5-minute wait though, so it shouldn't be too terribly bad. But this may be a good opportunity to get some food then, if that's the case, because yeah, probably going to share that 150 kilowatts. And we luckily got here and 2 just disembarked here. So weird supercharger station right next to an Applebee's right here. Pretty interesting. So we're gonna get juiced up and get out of here as quickly as humanly possible here in Wichita. Gonna see maybe there's somewhere to go to the bathroom, get some water. Man, these superchargers do not have much of anything out here in Kansas, but Model 3 is doing quite well here. Let's see how we're doing on charging. Lovely, getting that 70 kilowatts at 13%. Gosh dang it. One of the backup options would have been to go to an EA charger. We would have definitely gotten over 200. It was way off the highway before I even looked at it. So not really good to go there, but dang, we're going to be sitting here for quite a few minutes, it looks like, unfortunately. All right, so we ran over into Dillon's back here, grabbed some snacks, some water, because basically over there where the supercharger is next to Applebee's, absolutely nothing. But got a decent walk across the street in. I think we should be getting ready to hit the road. I want to get out of this station as quickly as possible because busy sitting at 70 kilowatts is not fun, so may as well get on the road. So just unplugged, 5% buffer here. What a terrible station this was.
Not good at all.
Nothing around. I mean, if you want Applebee's, okay, but I'm not going to go for a sit-down meal. With this 72 kilowatts of charging here, I guess you could go have an entire meal. So that's where we walked right across the street there into Dillon's. Time to get the hell out of this city. So we are in the middle of Oklahoma right now, headed to Perry, and we've got a 3% arrival, looks like, going. We have had some massive headwinds on this, definitely feeling it all over the place. See some trailers honking up here, so maybe he was, nope, just think letting a trailer over. I was gonna say, maybe there's a police-o man up there, but yeah. So we're at 368 watt hours per mile burn through the juice here. Again, keeping the speeds pretty high on this stretch, just trying to burn off the juice. Had thought for a minute there about stopping early at an EA to get a little bit better charging speeds, as this Perry, Oklahoma charger was looking like it was going to be pretty busy. I think we're going to be okay though. Dad, can you actually scroll out there and see where the next supercharger is? Just scroll on the screen. Nope, the other way. It's gonna be a ways up there. Yep, just pinch it. There you go. We can find it there. What's it say? 4. So that shouldn't be too terribly bad. That's a hell of a lot better than that Wichita stop we just had. Man, I wanted to get out of there immediately. So 3% arrival, should be good to go. Actually, not terrible views out here. Tons of windmills everywhere, but yeah, enjoying the drive. 665 miles in. So just got to the supercharger, plugged in, pulling 138 kilowatts. We did plug in there over with the X, but we are sharing power and a Model 3 left. Also, that color on that Model S is absolutely sick. So off to Oklahoma City after this. Gonna run in, probably get some more water, hit the bathroom, and hopefully quick splash and dash here. This should be our last V2 of the day, which I'm very, very thankful for. Also, these stall designs here, really weird. Not sure I'm a big fan of these. I would much rather back in. As you can see now, getting up to 140. Hopefully we can get full power here, but looks like charge rate limited by station. Also apologize for the fingerprints. All right, let's go to the bathroom and then get back on the road. Well, I gotta say, this was a truly terrible stop, especially when you can see there's a beautiful Love's over there. Disgusting bathrooms here. Yeah, not loving Oklahoma so far, but off to Oklahoma City now with the Model 3. It's actually staying relatively clean, but quite a few bugs here, of course, on the front end. We'll get that washed down when we get to Alabama. I am not a fan of these pull-through charging situations here that we've seen in Wichita and here. Just back your cars in. Weird situation going on here. Oh, I thought this was a cut cable, but people just leaving trash everywhere. Yeehaw. All right, 6% buffer here, 57 miles to Oklahoma City, 35%. I say we unplug and get on the road. Well, folks, here we are in Oklahoma City and the site of a very beautiful V3 supercharger. I am so glad to be done with those damn V2s. And tons of wall connectors also, which is pretty sweet. So let's get some good juice in this thing finally. Arrived 8% state of charge. I'm going very crooked into the parking space right now, and we'll figure out where we're headed to next. Dad, look at that lovely site there. 250 kilowatts. Dang, I've not been so excited to see 250 on a car in a long time, but man, that was rough sharing chargers, getting terrible speeds, terrible locations. This is actually a very beautiful shopping center over here. So very happy to be back on the V3s. This really feels like paradise here compared to what we just came through. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Lots of 150s, lots of terrible gas stations with very little conveniences around. Super nice grocery store inside, very clean. I love this install here in Oklahoma City. All these wall connectors, even over there's J1772 plugs. I am actually really loving this. So this site is a 16 stall V3. Really love it. So we are now headed down towards Dallas area. So our next charging stop is going to be here in Ardmore, another 250, 18 stalls. Great. Looks like 5B is out, so we'll make sure we don't plug in there. But on the way down, we are going to stop here, Saltgrass Steakhouse. We're actually going to have a nice sit-down meal. We've been on the road 733 miles, getting out for 10, 15 minutes at a time. So it'll be nice to have a good meal. So after Ardmore here, our plan is to go to this charger in Denton, Texas. And this, importantly, is at a Buc-ee's. My dad's never been to Buc-ee's. We literally have one 10 to 15 miles from his house. I don't know what we're doing, but it'll be nice to hit up a Buc-ee's here in Texas. Then you can see we kind of stay north of Dallas here to where we're going to stop in Terrell, whatever it is. We're actually going to be over here like I showed you guys. Wow, huge install here, Dad. Look at this, 36 stalls. Wow. That is freaking awesome. Interesting, it shows 325 kilowatt max. Okay, interesting. Probably because of Cybertruck V4 cabinets there. So that'll be cool. Staying in this area over here for hotels. And again, another Buc-ee's. So that'll be cool. 2 Buc-ee's coming to Texas. What's a road trip without Buc-ee's? We're enjoying our out-of-spec Dave spirit here, of course. We'll have a barbecue sandwich for him at some point, I'm sure. But that's the plan for now. So let's see, let's come back to here. All right, well, we're already ready to go. 9% state of charge arrival in Ardmore. Just by talking to you guys here, this went from under 0% to about 10% arrival. So let's end the trip and get back on the road. All right, had a great steak over there at Saltgrass and back on the road. So 12% arrival in Ardmore. I think we only have 2 more stops. Sun is getting ready to go down. Lots and lots of bugs on the front windshield. May have to clean that off for the morning, but let's head that way. Alright, so we did not film very much from Norman, Oklahoma to, where are we at? Ardmore? Mm-hmm. So we were actually just on the out-of-spec producers meeting that we have every Monday. So I had to jump on there. So we are arriving right now, 9% state of charge arrival. I think this one's going to be a pretty quick splash and dash situation. 250 stall here. So we'll get over to the charger and get plugged in. Ooh, so a dead supercharger. I just plugged into this one. The light went off and red. So I think we got to move. No charging. All right, here at the Ardmore V3 supercharger. Actually V2's over here also. So again, weird thing. Backed up into here. Light was on, plugged the car in, light went out. I don't know if it hit a breaker or whatever it was. Kind of weird. So I just ran into that restaurant over there, which kind of sucks that there is no other services here. So when they close, no bathrooms here, anything. Now, I didn't get it originally, but we peaked at 222 kilowatts, limited by station, and we're already ready to go. So into the night we go. We've got 74 miles until we hit Denton at the Buc-ee's. So an hour, 7 minutes. Do apologize for the glass here. The camera is having a heck of a hard time focusing through all the bugs. Unfortunately, no bug cleaners where we've been. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this Buc-ee's we're going to, we'll have something to clean off the windshield so y'all can see a little bit, because I can barely see through this thing. So on the road we go. Well, folks, we have made it to Denton, Texas, and of course, it wouldn't be a proper road trip without a Buc-ee's stop. So here we are. This one is pretty massive. I know they're all insanely massive, but looks like the superchargers are off to the left here. So 8% arrival here. Averaged, actually, 317 watt hour per mile. So under 3 miles per kilowatt hour. Should be pretty good with that. I will attempt to clean the glass here because it is getting to the point I can barely see out of it. So we might have to go into one of these stations. I don't even actually see them, the normal Buc-ee's. And you can see back here a very lonely supercharger V3 back here. And welcome to the great state of Texas. Ripping almost 250 kilowatts. Well, folks, here we are in Denton, Texas, and it wouldn't be a proper V3 supercharger and a proper road trip without Buc-ee's. First stop here in Texas. We have covered over 900 miles on the road today. Still another 70 or 80 to go till we stop this evening. Model 3 has honestly just been crushing it. Went through some pretty rough roads, some pretty rough charging sessions, but man, this thing has been an absolute blast on the road. So how was your first Buc-ee's experience?
Well, that was too much to take in.
That's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, so many things in there. It's like, wow.
Yeah, this is a big one. This one's also got a massive car wash. Also, my dad checked out over here. Let's see if I can get it on camera. They've got some like, what'd you say it was? Bug removal?
Yeah, it's a bug spray chemicals, it says. And then they got a big broom, like a floor sweep broom. That I'm sure people like to dig into the front ends of their cars with that.
Yeah, I'm not thinking I'm going to do that. The only thing I thought about was maybe grabbing a rag and using some rags on this. I just have a feeling it's going to streak the living hell out of the windshield. But, I don't know. I think it'll be good. Dang, the Model 3 just looks so good though. Love this freaking car. Looks so good with the lowered suspension. I was just on the phone with Kyle. I told him I think the rear end settled in over the last 900 miles. This thing is laying pack. Look how low this is. Holy Toledo. She's looking good. Already got the notification on my phone. Ready to hit the road. So we'll unplug here. What state of charge are we at? 52 already. That was a good V3 stop there. So on the road we go to our final stop, about 70-ish miles down the road. So a big shout out to Buc-ee's here, because I have absolutely plastered all of the bugs between Colorado, Oklahoma, Kansas, all of that fun stuff. And the best thing here is bug removal chemical. Normally they've got some brushes. I literally, of course, since I'm headed down south here to detail some cars, had some clean microfibers, sprayed this on here. Perfectly clean windshield now, ready to rock and roll. Well, you guys can thank both Buc-ee's and me for cleaning up the windshield because it's looking so much better. And the best thing is we're headed back on the road now, and guess what? We're going to another Buc-ee's 72 miles away. Let's get to it. Well, folks, we have cleared Dallas now, and we are now 977 miles into the drive. I think we just calculated that, so it's 10 o'clock at home, so right at 17 hours on the road, because we left at 5 a.m. this morning. So that is a good, solid day of driving. I think I am ready to get out of the car for the evening in 5.3 miles. 21% state of charge arrival because yeah, we got a little tour of Buc-ee's, went through there. So the plan tonight, so I think what I'm gonna do is there's a charger at another hotel, a level 2 charger that I could plug into. I think what I'm gonna do instead is just juice this up a little bit to basically the next stop. Dad, will you tap on that up here?
Here?
Yep. I think you should just be able to tap on that. So into Tyler, Texas. So I'm just going to probably charge this up 60% or so tonight and just let it sit overnight. Kind of let the battery kind of rest for a little instead of, again, full charging this thing. So tomorrow morning going into Tyler, Texas, I think we figured it's 60-ish, 70-ish miles. So we'll get up, get some Buc-ee's in the morning, probably get some breakfast sandwiches, hit the road, get our first charging stop under our belt. It is a 250 in Tyler, Texas, so that should be pretty darn good. But yeah, it's been a really actually enjoyable day. Honestly, I've not felt like I've been sitting in the seat for 17 hours. I know we had some walking around to do, but it's actually been really good. Dallas was absolute chaos. The roads there were going everywhere. Lots of construction around here, but we are now on the east side of Dallas and pretty happy with our drive today. So once we get to our stop, kind of update you more on the plan, and we've got a much shorter drive in to Foley, Alabama tomorrow. Well, folks, we have arrived here to Terrell, Texas, we think it is, and plugged in. Super nice install here. So of course V3.5's here, the new version 4 posts here. Look at all the freaking chargers at Buc-ee's, and somebody got pulled over right in front of us as we were getting off here. Really big Buc-ee's, and our hotel is, boom, right over there. True by Hilton is where we're going to be staying. So I think we'll get this juiced up, probably run into Buc-ee's, maybe get some snacks, some things, waters for this evening. But should be charging, I think. No? Are we not charging? It says ready to charge. What the heck? Why isn't this working? Of course, didn't even see this. The single stall that I plug into in this entire supercharger here, 7A, which we were just plugged in on. So we'll go farther down there and get her plugged in, get some juice in it. You can see only 13% to Tyler, Texas. Probably going to overcharge this quite a bit just so it sits. Again, want to kind of sit this. I'm kind of thinking around 50-60% tonight. All right, now we got communications. Now we're charging. So yeah, the only stall that I picked right down there out of all these is the one that doesn't work, of course. But should get a nice, juicy, fat charge here. Let's see this ramp up. 177, 183. Come on. It'll get up there. It's all good. Can't believe I didn't see that. Oh well. So, sitting right about 200 kilowatts. I'm fine with that. This thing has absolutely ripped today. So, final stats for the day. We have driven 983 miles, taking 329 kilowatt hours here. Interesting. Charge rate limited by station. Huh, okay. Whatever. That's all good. And averaged 335 watt hour per mile. So Dad, through all of that, averaged just under 3 miles per kilowatt hour. Lots of headwinds today, lots of really harsh roads, lots of very high speeds. We were pretty much doing 85 kilometers an hour, of course, the whole time. So yeah, looking pretty good. So let's get this juiced up, head over to our hotel over there for the evening. We'll probably see you guys in the morning. And a very good sunrise morning here from Terrell, however the hell you say this, Texas here. So bright early sunrise this morning. Yeah, got about 6 or so hours of sleep. We have 600 miles on the road today, so quite a bit less than yesterday. We're actually gonna head right over to Buc-ee's, not the car wash there, but I'm probably just gonna go throw this on the charger, gonna go get some breakfast, all of that fun stuff, and we'll get on the road and see what our plan's looking like. Well, this might be the perfect start to the morning. Buc-ee's breakfast, Starbucks coffee. Also threw it on the charger, just got her up to 66% here. So once we get through here, we'll figure out where we're going. Probably headed to Tyler. I think that's the farthest charger we can make it to. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'll look at it. I'm still waking up, not a morning person. Okay, so on the road, we've put a few miles in now. FSD's already freaking out, but yeah, beautiful morning here. Pretty nice scenery around, lots of bright green trees. So 4 charging stops for the day, and we're in Foley. So 600 miles we're doing. So our first stop is going to be Tyler, Texas, another V3. I actually think all of these chargers are V3s except for Hattiesburg. And shows right around, I think, 11-ish hours or so today. So yeah, we're gonna get to Tyler, Texas, 31%. Obviously not doing the out of spec thing here. I was surprised how little drained off the car last night. I think 1% using Sentry mode and everything else. So that was pretty good. Just threw it on the plug this morning, gained like 6% while we were getting breakfast sandwiches and stuff. And Buc-ee's got our coffees, and 7:30 in the morning, 60 degrees. So looking pretty good so far. We'll update you as we get a little bit farther down the road. And a very good morning here from Tyler, Texas, and a very nice install because you have the lovely Starbucks right behind you. Don't need much better than that. So just plugged in here, arrived at like 31%, I think, because we're already juicing up right up to 200 kilowatts. Obviously not super low state of charge, not a typical out of spec arrival. So our next charger on the road, Ruston, Louisiana. I believe, I don't know exactly how far away that is. This looks like a bigger stretch here for sure. But yeah, we'll get this thing juiced up, showing I think this is going to be a little bit deeper of a charge here, so about a 20-minute charge, which should be fine. Not in a big rush today. We're just kind of cruising along this morning, still waking up, still having coffee. And yeah, so that last stretch, 72 miles, 336 watt hours per mile, just right above, well, I guess technically below 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So looking like 152 miles as we're pulling it up on the map or so here. So that'll be a nice little stretch this morning. And yeah, really pretty out here. Very humid. Holy smokes, 100% humidity. I think I'm gonna have to get used to that for the next week while I'm down here. So great stop here in Tyler, Texas. Really nice. Just went inside, used the bathroom. Great stop here. This is all looking pretty good. Already tapered down 85 kilowatts at 63%. So would definitely like to get out of here pretty quickly here. So let's show you where we're going. So Ruston, Louisiana here. So we do have some bailout options through Shreveport if need be. So I'm going to probably leave with a pretty lowish buffer, probably giving myself a 5% buffer, I think is pretty darn good here. So Bossier City up here, which is a little off the way, but would probably be worth it for a 250. Otherwise, there is a 150 here in Shreveport. I don't know, maybe that's way farther off the road than I'm actually thinking. It doesn't look too terribly bad. But here's where we headed to in Ruston. So this is a 250 here. So let's see, we're at a 0% arrival. So yeah, really thinking once this hits, I guess 69%, boom, we'll unplug. That is a pretty deep charge to go only 151 miles. But again, have two backup options if we get down the road and we're like, well, we're going quicker than we can. But again, I do have to give a big shout out to Tesla Route Planner. Yesterday, it was darn near flawless, like getting us to chargers within 1 to 2% of what this was saying on departure of the last charger and getting to the next charger at, you know, within 1 to 2%. Extremely impressive. My experience with Route Planner has been largely pretty good. In the past, it has kind of screwed me over a few times, especially on the race to Vegas. If you guys remember that in the Model S, left a charger with like 7% buffer, literally get on the highway and it's like, oh, you're minus 10% or something like that. You know, charging needed to reach destination. You're like, what in the hell is going on here? So I think this should be a nice, easy drive for the next 2 hours and 13 minutes, 151 miles. And first charge is almost done of the day, so almost a quarter of the way done with our charging this morning. As you guys can see, we've made some serious progress already. So 148 miles since our last charge stop. We are already over 220, almost 230 miles into today's drive. Not too bad this morning. So 298 watt hours per mile, pretty darn efficient on this route so far. And yet again, Route Planner, I was saying as we left that last one, going to bring us in at 6%. We've been going allegedly slightly over the speed limit the entire time, which has been pretty darn good. So another 3.4 miles. This one seems like a pretty quick stop. Then we're gonna jump to another V3 down the road and keep on going. It looks like we're gonna get into some weather here in the next couple of hours, so definitely may overcharge a little bit, especially once you get into rain. Definitely hurts efficiency. So we'll kind of play it by ear, but things are going well this morning. It's been a pretty nice drive. Shreveport had some terrible roads around it, very slow speeds also. Sweet. Sitting right at 250 kilowatts. I think we got here, I don't remember what percent, I think 6%. So already absolutely ripping here. And our next stop, I don't know, we need to see. And just like that, even though I give Tesla a hard time for charging curves here, we're already ready to go. We literally just walked over there into Walmart immediately after plugging in, walked back, car's ready to go. Let's unplug and get on the road. We have been cruising for the last hour and 23 minutes to average 306 miles per kilowatt hour here. 4% arrival into Vicksburg. Definitely kind of chewed up some of our buffer there, which is totally fine. I think we left at 8%.
7.
I think it was 7. I don't know. It got, yeah, it's been doing pretty good. We've actually had quite reasonably high speeds out here. I've been kind of keeping it slower though. I've been getting blasted by traffic, 70-mile-an-hour speed limit zones out here, and yeah, just getting my doors completely blown off of this thing doing, you know, 75, 76, 77 or so. We are almost to Mississippi, so that'll be fun. I think that's my first time to Mississippi. Louisiana, I think that was my first time also, and pretty quick short day in there. So we have gone 1,310 miles total, and it looks like we've got another 276 to go today. Man, what a cool supercharger stop this is. We just came over the bridge into Mississippi, over the Mississippi River. Nice little Ameristar casino here, but this is pretty darn sweet. So full V3 station here. Seems like we need about 51-ish%, I believe, to make it to Hattiesburg, which is our next charge. So I'm sure we're gonna head inside, use the bathroom real quick. No real other facilities around here, but heck yeah, this is a really, really cool stop. A pretty cool stop here in Vicksburg, Mississippi. We're actually right next to the Mississippi River, of which we just crossed in from Louisiana over here to Mississippi. Really nice stop here. All right, well, that was our stop there. So kind of overcharged a little bit, taking in the views, kind of walking around. Just really cool to be right next to the Mississippi River. Unbelievable how fast that water is flowing. I don't know if you guys can see that. It is ripping. Watching the barges go down there, pretty cool. So love this stop here. So Hattiesburg. I was trying to figure out what the remaining words were there. 133 miles away, 2-hour drive. We're probably getting pretty hungry here soon, so may need to stop for food. Not much in there. Don't really want to eat casino food. So on we go. 66% in the battery. Let's head farther into Mississippi. we're having a little bit of fun here. So we are currently in Maggie, and we started looking at the weather and started noticing, being from Colorado, we deal with hail all the freaking time. I am, of course, not from down here in the south, so I don't really know how the weather is down here, if, you know, hail is a huge probability, but started looking at some of the maps and was, noticing, okay, so there's some storms rolling through exactly the way we're going through. Started getting more aggressive special weather statements, severe thunderstorm warnings. So we actually just sat at a Love's for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. And this route that we're taking, basically from Jackson to, Hattiesburg, is kind of like a straight shot through, and there were just storms one after another rolling in. So luckily, I think we're somewhat in the clear. We may change our game plan, because from Hattiesburg to Foley, there are also some storms cutting across in the middle as well. So the plan now is to get as far to Hattiesburg we can without getting, making our car look like a complete Titleist vehicle. And yeah, I know I'm a little OCD. As you guys know, I'm a detailer. I care about my car. Yes, even though it's a Model 3, for me, it doesn't really make sense to just push it, to be an hour ahead at our destination and, end up with a golf ball looking car. So that's why we did what we did. The weather has severely diminished over here. This is looking just like rain now. This storm back here actually was kind of chasing us, so we kind of felt trapped there for a while, like, oh my God, there's a storm in front of us, there's a storm behind us coming into where we're sitting at. Luckily, always you can pull into a gas station and do that. I can't tell you how many times we've done that in Colorado and saved many, many damages of cars by throwing it under a gas station canopy. So that's why we're a little bit more heads up, a little bit more cautious. So on the road we go, hopefully a little bit more smooth sailing from here. Made it to Hattiesburg. We've been plugged in for a little bit, checking weather, checking where we're going next. Technically, this is, I guess, going to be our last stop here. So we're plugged in at a V2 here. That last time since charge, 288.4 watt hour per mile. Actually, really efficient. I think we're good on weather for the rest of the time. So basically here to Foley, 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 142 miles on the road. So looking, I guess, currently about 7-ish p.m. I don't know if that accounts for charging. I would maybe assume it does. I don't know. But I think we still have quite a bit of charging left here. 15 more minutes or so. So probably going to go run to the bathroom, get some water, snacks, whatever we may need. There's not really much. There's a Witch here, a Smoothie King. Yeah, not all that much. But at least we can use the bathroom and do something. All right, we'll get you on the road here shortly. So, juicing up here, just ran over into Hope & Goods to use the restroom. And while we're waiting to charge, was just looking through, missing lug caps on the locking lug nuts here. So, yeah, that's a little unfortunate. Only on the passenger side, which is weird. Can't really figure out why that would be.
Wasn't me.
Probably all the side winds we had. Maybe this was like this. I never come to the passenger side. You've been pulling these off? I don't know. Yeah, good charging stop here. You can see nice and somewhat clean, honestly, on this thing. Actually, the funny thing, we were going through some pretty good rain. The front of this is surprisingly clean of bugs. I mean, very little on there. You can see all the stainings. This will just be a quick wash up on this thing. Boom, she'll be back to brand new. So let's see how much farther we got and get on the road when we can. So headed down to Bama Details. That is where we're going. I named that, of course. Don't want to give my customers house address out to anybody. So 149 miles, 2.5 hours, 11% state of charge arrival. Should be good. He's actually got charging at his house. So heck yeah, that should be pretty perfect. I don't know what we're going to do for dinner. We'll try and see. Maybe we'll do that beforehand. So there might be another stop. We'll kind of play it by ear. I actually have to take my dad to the airport tomorrow. He's flying out of Pensacola. So I think that's about 45 minutes to an hour from where we'll be this evening. So tomorrow morning we'll need some juice in the battery pack. But yeah, I think the weather has subsided for the most part now, which is good. It always makes me super nervous, but let's get on the road. Well, folks, my almost, right over 1,500 mile road trip driving across the country has been very hit or miss with full self-driving, and now I am even more annoyed with full self-driving. I just got my 5th strike. I was quite literally looking at the weather map. As you can see, it's raining here, and it just kicked me off, gave me a strike. Here's the best thing. I can't even use traffic-aware cruise control. If you want to hit that for me, Dad. No cruise control. So now I get to drive back across the country with no cruise control in my Model 3. Tesla, fix this. Well, folks, my foot is completely numb after doing all the throttle work, I guess, the last hour. So we are getting really close here. Now, we're actually going to head to my customer's house this evening, then go have dinner after we get there. So decided, just with the little bit of buffer we had, gonna throw it on the Buc-ee's. Yes, a 3rd Buc-ee's on this trip. Gonna throw it on the charger for probably literally 5 minutes just to make sure we have enough to go grab dinner and get back to his house. All of that stuff should be a very quick top up. Then we're gonna head there. So I think that'll be most of what we filmed for today. Probably will end this video off taking my dad to Pensacola International Airport tomorrow, and I'll get back, start detailing. So definitely stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for a lot of out-of-spec detailing content. And just like that, another Buc-ee's right over there. The last charge of, I guess, this leg of the trip. We still got to go take this guy to the airport in the morning, but really, honestly, a quick splash and dash here, probably 10% in the pack, and we're gonna head to my customer's house for the night. Obviously not gonna film where we're going. You will see some videos from his house, but obviously want to keep all of that separate. So it's been an amazing drive here in the Model 3. Honestly, have loved almost every minute of it, except about the last hour because my foot is destroyed. Oh my gosh. But dang, it's been fun. So we'll see you in the morning.
The free state of Florida?
The free state, apparently. We are in Florida, folks. So a very good sunshiny morning. I was going to say here in Alabama, but now in Florida. We are actually headed to the airport now, so this will be getting close to wrapping up this road trip. I'm going to head back to my customer's house after I drop my dad off at the airport and get started detailing some cars. All right, so while we're sitting in traffic here, kind of figure we kind of recap the trip here since we're getting close. We're about 8 or so miles away from the airport, and I think that's kind of where I'll end off this video for you guys. So honestly, pretty darn good trip over the last 2 days. Really very little issues, honestly, on the road. The Model 3 has been just, I would say, munching the miles. Honestly, I really enjoy road tripping electric cars instead of, you know, just blasting 500 miles, stop, blast another 500 miles in a combustion car. My bladder is not made out for that. I always try and, you know, hydrate as much as I can during the drive. I don't want to just sit here and not drink water all day and all of that stuff. So yes, it's a lot of stops, but I very much enjoy, you know, getting out every hour and a half, 2 hours, stretch your legs, and then literally use the bathroom, get water, and boom, you're on the road. So it's one of those things, you know, us at Out of Spec, we always talk about charging curves and this and that. The only thing I would really say with, you know, okay, yes, you can do this, and even on slower chargers, you know, you're kind of sitting at certain times, which I don't think is too big of a deal. The nice thing would be, you know, to have more buffer on the other end and have, you know, more of a charging curve, even like my EV6, to where, you know, if I pull into a charger at 30% and say, you know, go to 70, 75%, I'm actually getting, you know, pretty juicy power, where the Model 3 here, you know, at 50%, you're pulling 100 kilowatts or, you know, slightly less, even higher, whereas like EV6 pulling over 240. But I do have to say the supercharger network has been, of course, as always, great on this trip. Really no complaints with that. Some big takeaways. Route Planner has been amazingly impressive. I honestly really no issues with it at all. It's been really prioritizing, you know, getting within 1 to 2%, which is awesome, of arrival. And even with high speeds, changing weather conditions, I mean, when you're doing, you know, these decent stretches of over 100 miles, predicting the weather up there, because we've had quite a bit of wind, side wind, tailwinds, headwinds at times, and it's been unbelievably accurate. So that's been extremely nice. What else? So full self-driving, we got locked out last night. And a very good thing this morning, I actually did get cruise control back. I don't know why. The car just needed to sit overnight. So I went through, power cycled the car, you know, locked the car, let it sit. We had dinner last night, came back out to the car, no cruise control. I'm like, this is going to be a hell of a journey back from here in Alabama back to Colorado. My right foot is going to be completely fried and shot, but luckily we have it now. So FSD, yes, 5 strikes is a lot. You know, what I would say to that is a couple of them were kind of weird. Obviously wasn't filming all those, you guys weren't watching the screen. Some of those were on those stretches where I was struggling with autopilot or FSD at the time, keeping up with traffic, where it, you know, go 85 miles an hour, then slow down. I think I got 2 strikes on this trip from literally pressing the accelerator pedal, and then it freaked out because you're kind of overriding it at that point. And, you know, there's times in FSD that you get into these weird situations with trucks and cars coming up quickly that you're on FSD, you press the accelerator, and then it's like freaks out and boom, you get a strike. So there's been some weirdness on that. The other one yesterday that was our last and final strike, I was literally looking at weather as it was starting to rain, just wanted to see what was going on, touching the screen over here, and it just freaks out. So I think there needs to be some more clarification on why strikeouts are like that. I totally understand if you're just sitting here not paying attention, you know, scrolling around on your phone, but, you know, doing road trip things when you have to use the screen to look at your upcoming stations and where you're going, look around the superchargers. I get that it's hard to do, but you know, how we do road tripping is you want to spend as little time at chargers as possible, the most of the time on the road, and that's how we did 980 miles the first day. So we are actually at 1,651 miles currently since Colorado. We burned 528 kilowatt hours. Average efficiency, this is what actually surprises me. All in all, 319 watt hours per mile, which I would say is actually really pretty decent for this car. So my lifetime average, I think before I started this trip, was around 280 watt hours per mile, and this car is really a daily driver for me. This is a go to the shop. Again, this is the first big road trip I've done on it. Of course, we do highway miles in this car in Colorado, going up to the mountains. I do some spirited canyon driving. So, you know, this car doesn't just, you know, always sit at 35 miles an hour. At every stoplight, it's full throttle, full send on this thing. And yeah, but Model 3, honestly, this thing has not skipped a freaking beat. I've been very, very, very impressed with this car. And yeah, the Tesla network is crazy easy. I would just really, really love to see, you know, improved charging. So maybe you can skip stops if you're one of those people, because there are sometimes it's like, okay, I don't really need to stop here. And then you get into this weird time of like, okay, you're sitting at a V2 charger, there's, you know, a V3 way up there, but instead you're sitting at like 80 kilowatts at this V2 charger. You've got another V2 charger. It'd just be nice to be able to ride the curve a little bit. I gotta say, V2s had been not the greatest. They really aren't that terrible, and that's one of the tricky things with these charge curves on especially Model 3 here is, you know, unless you're arriving low, really riding that curve kind of at 30-40%, it doesn't really matter if you're on a V2 or a V3. You're pulling the same exact speeds because the curve just, you know, dies off so quickly. So it's definitely been different. You know, I've been very used to driving the EV6 around Colorado, even the EV9, hitting fast chargers and just absolutely ripping speeds. And yeah, I gotta say, Tesla's charging curve has been pretty darn disappointing. So it's been an incredible trip. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and hopefully my first full road trip video for myself has been, I guess, enough here on the Out of Spec Motoring channel. Of course, you guys saw me on the race to Vegas with Kyle and Ryan, which was an absolute blast of a trip. But yeah, 2 days, 1,600 miles, honestly, really not that bad. Kind of excited to do it on the way back. I'm gonna probably do a different route. I'm not thinking I'm gonna film that. I'll talk to Kyle, see if it makes sense for me to film a video or not. But yeah, it's been a fun one. All right, Dad. He's at the airport here off the Pensacola. He's gonna get a flight back home to Denver. You got your Buc-ee's bag.
Going to empty trash.
Cool. Well, it's been fun, Dad. Safe travels.
Great. Safe, man.
See ya.
See you, bud.
Well, folks, I'm down here in very sunny Pensacola, Florida, heading down to the Gulf Shores. And you may notice I have cruise control back. So I don't know what happened last night with the FSD strikeout, and basically stopped, cycled the car, put it in park, opened the charge port, did that about 4 to 5 times. We even actually went supercharged the car, got back on the road, did not get cruise control back at all. We last night also went to dinner, let the car sit for the better part of an hour while we were eating dinner, got back in the car, still no cruise control. So of course, you know, I got to go back to Colorado in the next week from here in Alabama, Florida area, and was really worried about not having cruise control. Then I woke up this morning and it magically came back. So I'm not sure what the remedy was for that other than the car sitting overnight. But yeah, have done all of the normal necessities of stopping the car, opening the charge port, even charging it, letting it fall asleep during dinner, and had no cruise control. So very weird behavior here, because yeah, definitely didn't think it was normal to get an FSD strikeout and then still not have cruise control. So thankfully and luckily we've got cruise control, but I'm gonna go see the beach. Well, folks, I think this is a perfect spot to end off our road trip here. We're just on the coast here of Alabama, just came over that bridge into Florida. People out here enjoying jet skis, having some fun. Wow, what a beautiful area this is down here. Man, oh man, the Model 3 has been genuinely spectacular all the way through. Have really enjoyed this trip. Honestly, the car is looking relatively clean. I'm probably going to give it a quick wash at my customer's house tonight after I get to work, and that's what this trip is all about. Of course, we still have work to do. It's all fun and play driving across the country, getting to come see this, but now I got to go do some work and then head home. So man, this has been fun. Really appreciate you guys watching another out of spec motoring video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll do more of these videos if y'all do enjoy them, because dang, it's sure been fun road tripping across the country. Big thanks to my dad for joining me on the trip. Always fun to just get some windshield time, as we talk about. Just talk, hang out, enjoy the drive, enjoy new scenery. Man, what a beautiful time it's been. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.